which food beverages do you recommend, for example, someone going through the program that helps them recover or may even hurt their program success rate?
So there's a few answers here, but what I'm going to say is the number one thing that people with autoimmunity and Hashimoto's should avoid is gluten. So gluten, it actually, when you eat gluten, it will cause an immune response. It's called molecular mimicry. And so the gluten molecule looks very similar to the thyroid and to the cerebellum of the brain. And so when you eat gluten, it literally causes your immune system to attack the thyroid. And so those antibodies will stay circulating in your system for up to 90 days. So gluten in any amount will really trigger this whole autoimmune issue. And so that's kind of like the one thing, like if you were going to do one thing, gluten is it. However, you can do gluten-free wrong. So a lot of people are like, oh, I tried gluten-free and that didn't work. I'm like, well, how did you try gluten-free? So, they were like, well, instead of pizza with gluten, I went pizza without gluten. And I also ate donuts and I ate cookies and I ate candy and I ate all these things, but they were all gluten-free. And I'm like, okay. So the other part of this is, yes, gluten is not good. And now, I've been gluten-free for 20 something years. And when I was gluten-free, there was not a gluten-free product. Like there was nobody even heard of what that was. They looked at me like I was a crazy person. Now it's much easier, but there's a lot more available. And just because it's gluten-free doesn't mean you should eat it. So a lot of these gluten-free grains have much higher sugar. And every time you eat sugar, it's going to cause your blood sugar to spike. You're going to get an insulin surge. And that also will trigger the immune system. Not to mention, every time you get an insulin surge, you're going to be storing fat. So, we got to really pay attention to how the foods are impacting our blood sugar. So really staying away from grains most of the time is going to be a better solution than just going grain-free.
It's almost like they want the food to taste good, so people buy it. So read the label and see, okay, I have less of this, but this has 20 grams of sugar. Maybe not the best thing for me. Maybe not.
Yeah, I was looking at somebody posted something. They're like, Dr. Heather, I found this pasta. It's supposed to be all amazing. And I'm like, I look at first of all, the ingredients were like chickpeas and some other things that are super high in carbs. But I look at the carbs and it was like 45 grams of carbs in like half a cup. I'm like, girl, your blood sugar is going to go sky high. And I bet you if you looked at regular wheat pasta, it's probably not that high. So you got to really pay attention to reading the labels and the ingredients.